Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Arocho, and on behalf of Major League Baseball, I'd like to welcome you to this special announcement of the details of our 2023 All-Star Legacy Initiative. This annual effort is a midsummer classic tradition that delivers on our sports promise to give back to our All-Star host communities in meaningful ways. Today, we will hear from several representatives who will play a key role in the development of our All-Star legacy. But first, we are honored to start today's press conference with an address from the chairman and managing partner of the Seattle Mariners. Please welcome to the dais, John Stanton.
Thank you all for being here today. For me, baseball is all about families. I remember playing baseball, playing catch with my father years ago and playing with my sons. I think every time we welcome people to T-Mobile Park, we think in those terms. And for us, the opportunity to host our third All-Star game from '79 to 2001 to this year represents an opportunity to realize and live our mission. Our mission as an organization is to win championships, to delight our fans, and to serve our communities. This is all about serving our communities. And for us, the opportunity to pivot from playing every day, winning and losing, which we'll hopefully win tonight against the Oakland A's, to focusing on what we can do not only for this generation of fans, but for future generations of fans, is what the All-Star Game is all about. When I talked to the commissioner about possibility of hosting this game 2 years ago now, one of the things we talked about was how impressed he was, or how impressed all of Major League Baseball was with the job we did in 2001. And I'm excited by all the work that's been done and the ability for us to work closely with Steve and the team of Major League Baseball and to be able to deliver a great game, but also to be able to deliver something for the fans and the people of Seattle and the Puget Sound area that will last far beyond the single game or a series of events this year, and will represent an opportunity for us to have a legacy here in Seattle. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it back to Steve to introduce our panel.
Thank you, John. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our dais. First, to the far left, Senior Deputy Mayor of the City of Seattle, Monisha Howard. Closest to me, Executive Vice President of the Seattle Mariners, Fred Rivera, and our Senior Vice President of Social Responsibility of Major League Baseball, April Brown. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to April to officially announce our 2023 All-Star Legacy Initiative.
Thank you, Steve, and good afternoon, everyone. It's just awesome to see this room. We are so excited to be here in Seattle. Just wanted to thank our family at the Mariners, John, Katie Graves, Nova Newcomer, Fred. You all have just made this an incredible time as we have thoughtfully really conceptualized what we're going to do for our legacy initiative. You know, each year when Major League Baseball has our All-Star Week, you know, we're very thoughtful with our host clubs in terms of really making sure that we're authentic and leaving a legacy. What does legacy mean? It means that when we leave here in July, you have a legacy that is unique to your community and that really makes a difference. Since 1997, we've given over $100 million in total to all of our legacy initiatives. And I'm so excited to announce today that we are investing $2 million in Seattle and the surrounding areas. So we are thrilled. So a lot of what we are conceptualizing will be unveilings of a few key programs to really touch young people and middle school through college. The main initiative will be a refurb of Rainier Playfield, which is right here in the area. And it's a field that really touches all ages. It's generational. So Little League plays there, high school plays there, the community comes out, adults. So we're so excited that we'll be unveiling that initiative while we're here for All-Star. The second one is an Access Innovation Fund, and that's really to tie into play equity, which is incredibly important to the Mariners. We want to make sure that every young person, especially in middle school, and we tend to lose kids to our sport, we want to make sure that everyone has access to our games. So through partnership and long-term investment, there'll be an Access Innovation Fund to really talk about the importance of this game, making sure that kids have that opportunity to stay in it and gain the techniques from it, the physical activity, the social pieces to it that really help with your mental wellness and your mental well-being. So excited that that will be the second program that we announce. The third one will be an extension of the Mariners Hometown 9 program, and we will be investing in an H9 intramural Little League. So again, to make sure that youth all around Seattle and the surrounding areas have access. So there'll be open gym nights, there'll be recruitment efforts just to get kids involved, get a bat and a ball in their hand, and we know that can make the difference. So that will be the third announcement that we'll be making while we're here. There will be a panel at Capital One Playwell Park. We invite you all to come and just hear the importance around all of these initiatives, but specifically around closing the equity gaps that might exist for our young people. And then for our college community, we want to make sure that our community college students have every resource available that they need for themselves. So the Mariners are establishing an emergency aid fund, and with the partnership of United Way of King County, we will be unveiling a refurbishment at Shoreline Community College. We know that there's a higher risk when you're a community college student. You might be a little bit older or have a family already, so any type of financial hardship can knock you out of the game, and we want to make sure that we keep you in that game and get that degree. So we are establishing that with Shoreline Community College and with all of their campuses. So we invite everyone to be a part of that announcement and to make sure that resources are provided for all of the students there. And in Major League Baseball, we want to make sure that we give an opportunity for everyone to give back while we're here. So on the Saturday morning, we will be going to Golden Gardens Park and doing a beach cleanup. It's part of our greening initiatives and part of our effort. So we invite the whole community, come out, roll up your sleeves, and help us clean up the beach. So we're just excited to be here. So thank you for having us today. Over $2 million, and it's going to be an investment that lives well beyond the game that we play on during All-Star. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, April. So at this time, I'd like to invite Fred, followed by Alicia, to say a few words.
Thank you, April. Thank you to Major League Baseball for investing in our community. It means so much to us. As John said, part of our mission is to serve our communities, and we focus on three pillars. One is expanding access to baseball and softball in our community. Games that we love, right? It's in our blood, it's in our passion, and that's what we want to do. Advancing equity and justice, and also supporting our hometown to make it healthy and vibrant for all of our community members. And all of these projects hit on those pillars, and they do so in an impactful way. I want to underline, these are legacy projects. These are not one-time projects, but they're something that will remain in our community for decades to come. So hopefully when we host the next All-Star game in 20-some years, folks will say, I remember what they did in 2023. I want to hit on a couple of these programs and thank some of our partners. Rainier Playfield is an important part of our community. It serves as the home field for Cleveland High School baseball and softball. It's also across the street from the Rainier Community Center, which is the second largest community center in our state. It'll provide a valuable resource for all the kids who are there after school, as well as for Rainier Little League, which calls it its home field. Thank you to our partners at Rainier Little League who are here today, Seattle Parks and Recs, and everyone on the mayor's staff, from the Senior Deputy Mayor, Deputy Mayor Wong. Thank you for all your partnership. This is going to be really a tremendous project that we're going to invest in, that will give benefit to our kids for years to come. We also know that not all kids have access to play baseball and softball. The King County Play Equity Coalition has done significant study on what the barriers are to playing, and they range from transportation, field access, and cost. Cost particularly comes into play at age 13, after kids age out of the community Little League and Pony Leagues at 12, and they look for another place to play. And unfortunately, the options are either travel, select baseball or softball, or they stop playing. And so our H9 program that we're going to start hopefully helps to address that gap and that barrier. So kids can play as long as they want, at whatever level they want, and really become passionate about the game and become lifelong fans. So we're very much looking forward to that. And then finally, on the community college programs that we're investing in up in Shoreline, I'm a community college graduate, so this means a lot to me, and I know the benefits of that. I also know that community college students frequently have a difficult time managing getting through school. The average age of our Seattle community college students is 28. They are, in terms of median income, it's half what it is for students at University of Washington. And we lose a lot of community college students from enrollment because they need to pay the bills and support their family. So through the program at Shoreline, in addition to our partnership with the Seattle Colleges Foundation, where we'll be issuing scholarships to support kids, students to get through community college and attainment, we think we're going to make a difference. We also think we're going to shed light on the importance of having students graduate and attain a degree, which will be great for our community. We know that our community needs skilled workforce, and this is a valuable route to have our students finish school. So we welcome additional partners to this down the road. So in closing, thank you again to MLB, thank you to the city, Parks and Recs. We're really looking forward to a tremendous event and looking forward to what these investments will do in our community in the long term.
Thank you so much. It is a true honor to be here, and I know that Mayor Harrell is truly thankful for both the Mariners and Major League Baseball for bringing this great All-Star Week to the city of Seattle. Fred, thank you so much for your remarks and for all the partners who have gathered here today. This All-Star Game is a profoundly deep experience for the city of Seattle as we emerge from challenging both economic and social times. This is an opportunity to bring the game of baseball, the great game of baseball, and the All-Star Week back to Seattle. These legacy projects show exactly how integrated baseball has been to this community, everything from Sixth Stadium to where we are now. And we're going to be able to bring the game that's more than just a game to the city. I'll speak personally as a former softball player, which is, what is the game beyond the game? The game beyond the game is learning to work together. It's teamwork. It is knowing where to be on the field when the ball is in the air and the ball may not be coming to you, but how do you help the rest of your team succeed in those moments? Baseball, softball teaches you life lessons. And so when we talk about bringing this game to Seattle, it's not just about the sport, it's about the lessons. And so these investments will help our community be able to deepen those lessons in the Seattle area. And so the Rainier Playfield investment, a tremendous investment in the heart of Seattle, in a key area in Seattle where people don't have access to all-year fields. This will give us an all-year field in a central portion of the city. Investing in organizations like Baseball Beyond Borders, run by a dear friend, Buki Gates, but really teaching the lessons of baseball that go well beyond the game, that again go into teamwork, go into anticipating plays and knowing where to be, both in the game experience but also in real life experience, allowing you to look ahead, see the future, know how to get there, how to put yourself in the position to take advantage of what that play will be. Helping with our young people who are in school who may not have access to the sport right now, but they do have access to a future, and baseball wanting to be a part of that future. Again, thank you to Major League Baseball for their investment to make sure that everybody who wants a future has access to a future. Very key component to this work. These legacy investments are what make partnerships with the Mariners and Major League Baseball absolutely worth it. It's these investments that show the community that we can both play together and work together, that we can build upon gifts that we have to make sure that we are all taken care of. Mayor Harrell is a true believer in what it is that what you leave behind is the most important part of who you are. Major League Baseball, with this All-Star Week, will leave behind a fantastic legacy, and we are just so grateful to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred and Monisha. Monisha mentioned it, but I see some familiar faces from Baseball Beyond Borders who represented recently in the Argyle World Series. Hopefully some of these programs will help get you guys there more and more in the years ahead. Last thing, for more information, you can visit MLBtogether.com, where many of the community efforts around All-Star Week and beyond All-Star Week can be found. So at this time, we have Claire on your right, Sarah on your left with wireless microphones. We would like to open it up to any media who want to ask any questions. Just raise your hand to the third on the right, to the left.
Hi, my question is for Fred and for Deputy Mayor Harrell. I'll preface this by saying the mayor's already made millions of investments in the Soto neighborhood, trying to activate it, get more people on foot in the area. What kind of discussions are happening right now between the mayor's office and the Mariners about cleaning up some of the other things that we see on the streets in terms of the encampments and RVs right now to be ready for the All-Star game?
I'll start with that. So we are constantly working together. This is not just for the All-Star game, but this is really part of our work to get the city back on track. We have developed a very strong relationship both with the Mariners and with the other members of the Seattle Sports Commission, where we want to make sure that when people come to Seattle from all over, from both within Seattle neighborhoods as well as neighboring cities around Seattle, that they have a great experience when they come to support our sports teams. And so it's an ongoing conversation. It was part of our day of service where we looked at things that could be cleaned and beautified around the area to make sure that we were preparing ourselves for the All-Star game, but this goes well beyond the All-Star game. When we have needs that need to be addressed, we will continue to work with community, we'll continue to work with nonprofits to make sure that we're offering services to those who need assistance and help, and we'll continue to work with the sports teams to make sure that the areas around their venues represent the Seattle that we want the rest of the world to see.
I would just add, like the legacy projects that we discussed, that we want this to continue past the All-Star game. The mayor's office has been very clear that these are not just for the All-Star game. What we're doing in our community will last beyond it. So as we look at, for example, the walkway between light rail into the ballpark, as we look at making sure that it's appropriately lit, it'll go beyond the All-Star game. It'll be, our fans will see that beyond July and for seasons to come.
Any questions? Same row, to your right.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really quick question here. As far as the renovation goes for that Rainier playfield, when can we start to see that in motion? And secondly, while it's being renovated, where are those folks supposed to play at during that time of renovation?
I'll start. Okay. So we will start that renovation very shortly after the announcement and the ribbon cutting for the unveil during All-Star Week. You will start to see the renovations go quickly after that throughout the summer. Just because of climate, we wanted to make sure that we did it at the appropriate time, and so that when the unveil happens later this fall, it will be immediately usable.
And then in the off season, we'll lay the turf, so that by March, by the opening of high school season and Rainier Little League season, the turf will be installed and ready to go.
Row behind you, in the middle.
Thank you. Fred, starting with you, and then Deputy Mayor Harrell, if you'll follow up too. You've already touched on it a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit more about what we can expect to see 10 years from now, 20 years from now from these investments, and Deputy Mayor, then what you would expect to see from them?
I'll start with a very short story. I was at a game in Gig Harbor about 3 weeks ago for my 14-year-old son, and I was walking around the complex, and it was a beautiful turf field, and I happened to notice a little sign that said, "Proudly brought to you by the Seattle Mariners," and I think it was Boeing was the corporate sponsor at the time, from over a decade ago. That's what we would like to see in the decade plus, when kids are playing at Rainier Field and Cleveland High School is winning a state championship in baseball and softball, that they can look back at this moment and say, we contributed to that. On our community college initiatives and investment, we can't do this on our own, but what we can do is our part and shed light to the importance of the community college system in our community. And so in the future, we'd love to see the students in community colleges really thriving and contributing to the workforce in our area.
And I'll mention that these are the sorts of partnerships, the sorts of relationships that get other organizations also thinking about how they can contribute. And so what we see is, we see one project right now that's tied to the All-Star Game, but I'm willing to bet you that there are some other companies, some other organization right now thinking about what they can do to also be a part of the solution. And I'll mention, as a former softball player myself, right, a lot of my success in the business community has been around knowing how to play the game and knowing how to appropriately field the ball, so to speak, and then knowing when somebody else is fielding the ball, what I'm supposed to be doing in my backup role. So I think what we're going to see from these investments is we're going to see a whole new generation of young people who are able to apply the skills of the game to their growth opportunities in the future. And so what I expect is that within a generation, we're going to see a whole new group of leaders who have benefited from these investments apply them to many different aspects of their life, and to continue to see young Seattleites thrive in that way.
And I will add one interesting nugget. The Commissioner's Cup and Jenny Finch Classic, which includes a local team here competing against teams from baseball and softball teams from urban youth academies from around the country. They will be playing many of their games at Lower Woodland Park, which was part of the 2001 legacy effort in Seattle. So you will see a direct connection with activities during this All-Star Week with a project from the last time it was held in Seattle. Any other questions? There's a little note from the PR guy, sorry.
And that was a $1 million investment 22 years ago.
Anything else? All right. Well, this will wrap the press conference. We'd ask our speakers, with Mr. Stanton, some of our community partners, to join us for a group photo. And then our speakers will be available for individual interviews following that photo. So thank you all again for attending this afternoon, and we can't wait to be back in July. Take care.